I'm sure you've heard of FOMO before, the fear of missing out, but have you heard of JOMO, the joy of missing out? That is a term that I recently heard from my friend Christina, and it has been something that has been so lovely to embrace within my life. And so I am going to share what's been going on for me and give you some really great tips to help you embrace the joy of missing out. So let's dive in. Are you ready to open up and talk about all things business? I'm Crystal Vilkaitis, a curious entrepreneur who loves talking about business, especially over a glass of wine. I started Crystal Uncorked to share open and honest conversations about my journey and talk to other entrepreneurs about their experiences. We pull back the curtain and talk about the highs and the lows. Wine isn't required, but is recommended. This is Crystal Uncorked. I don't know about you, but I am definitely somebody who struggles with FOMO, the fear of missing out. I want to be involved in all the social activities. I want to go to all of the Zooms and the webinars that I've signed up for. I even see like free stuff that comes through my email and I'm like, ooh, that topic. I need to know that topic. I want to just know it all, be a part of it all, and I don't want to miss out. And so that means that I'm subscribing to go to a lot of things and I'm binging on all sorts of content, which I've talked about in a couple of weeks ago, kind of trying to tune some of that out. And that really is going along with this whole JOMO mentality. And how I learned about this is, last week, I think it was, I had a insanely busy schedule. Lots of interviews, lots of meetings, lots of training webinars, appointments. And I was going into the week, it was Monday morning, and it already felt so incredibly heavy. And I was like dreading the week. I kind of had like a crabby attitude about it all because I was just so annoyed that my schedule was just so full, because I am somebody who I really need space. Like I really appreciate space in my schedule. It allows me to be more creative. It allows me to think. I like flexibility. And so when it's so packed, I don't love that, but I am somebody who loves always doing something. So that's kind of funny, but I just want it to be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more on my terms. So Monday morning happens and all of a sudden I have a call from the dentist office. The dentist is sick, so I couldn't go in that last week. So that got canceled. She's like, thank you so much for understanding. And I'm like, oh, no problem at all. Cause I'm like, thank goodness something got canceled, right? I was like, yes, it is freeing up. And then two Crystal Uncorked interviews had to get rescheduled because people were sick. And I was like, yes, okay, this is great. Like, so happy about that. Then another appointment of mine got canceled. And then I decided not to go to a couple of the live trainings I was going to go to. And boom, all of a sudden I had at least 6 hours back on my schedule. Oh, and there was a social event. We were going to go to this like fundraiser at a dinner theater with our friends. And that was going to be a couple hours. And I was just like, usually I love doing that kind of stuff, but I was just looking at this calendar and I'm like, I don't want to do any of this. I just need a break. I need some space. I need some time. Well, that dinner got canceled too. And that we were going to go with my friends Vi and Christina, both who have been on the show. And I'm like, Christina, like, oh, I'm actually so happy that got canceled. And she's like, see, JOMO. Like she constantly is reminding me of JOMO. I totally will forget about it. And so now I've been embracing it more and thinking about it more and looking at my calendar and saying like, do I really need to go to this? Is this something I need to go to? Or is this something that I have a fear of missing out on? And so I'm going to it. It's really allowed me to be more thoughtful with my meetings and my time, how I'm spending my energy, because at the end of the day, we all have a certain amount of energy, right? And if we are using it all up on all sorts of this stuff because of our FOMO that doesn't actually fill up our cup, doesn't actually connect to what we are wanting to do, then we're going to run out of all this energy. We're going to be exhausted. We're going to look back at the day and be like, what was that all for? What did I accomplish? I'm completely drained. And we keep pushing away the things that we're really craving and we're really wanting. And so we have to be really strategic with our energy. I recently heard somebody say that it's not about not having enough time. It's about having enough energy. And if you start thinking that way and notice your day, notice how you're feeling, notice your schedule, but also your energy and where you're able to show up and provide and what you're able to do. When we just don't have the energy, we are not going to be creative to create our social media posts, to write our emails, to create the next marketing campaign, to think creatively and how we can work with our partners, how we want to do things within our business. Like, we're just so exhausted. So we just kind of do the admin work or the bare minimum, or we just like shuffle things around because we're working, we're being productive when we're actually really not doing shit, right? Because we don't have the energy. So I feel like JOMO and missing out on some things and really embracing that and getting comfortable with it can really help us find the energy and also connect with what is important to us. And so I read a interesting stat recently by LinkedIn. They surveyed a bunch of employees. I don't know how many employees, but of the people that responded, 70% of them did not disconnect from work when they were on vacation. They still worked on vacation. And the thing that's, I think, is really hard in today's society is because we are so connected through our social media and through email and texting. You hear about digital detoxes, and those are a real necessary, needed thing because we are so connected. We are so tapped in. We don't want to be missing out on anything, right? We want to be connected in. We even want to be working while we're on vacation. And I am guilty as charged there too. But when I make very conscious efforts of unplugging, disconnecting, removing the app, signing out of the email, hiding the email icon on my phone, and just totally disconnecting, that is when I can really relax. And I often find I have better answers to the questions I had going into vacation. And I also have new sense of creativity because I gave myself that space to do it. So we need to, there's pressures from society, there's pressures from people, sometimes our bosses, other people in our lives. And then of course there is that fear of missing out. And so that just has us running 5,000 miles an hour and we're not really slowing down for the joy of missing out, for JOMO. So I found a really great article on Psychology Today that shares some tips to embrace JOMO that I wanted to share that I thought were just great things to remind all of us. And so the first one is to be intentional with your time, to schedule things that are important to you, whether it's working out, meeting with a friend, writing a book. We just really have to make sure that these are priorities and we are getting them on the calendar. Now, I don't know if you're like me, but if it is not scheduled, it does not exist. I move really fast. I forget a lot of things. So I need to write things down and put it on the calendar. Otherwise, it will never happen. So if I'm wanting to, let's say, write a book and I talk about it because I have been for a while, I just feel this need to write. But if I'm not building anything within my schedule to actually write, it's never going to get done. And then what ends up happening is that feeling of like, gosh, why am I pushing this off? Why am I pushing this off? Just do it, get to it. And I get really frustrated with myself. And then sometimes I will blame my schedule or all these other meetings. There's just no time or I have no energy left. When I am the creator of my schedule, I can schedule in first thing in the morning or right after my walk, that writing time. But instead, it will often get taken for other tasks. And so what I'm learning is it's really about changing my habits and the current structure of my day to create a new structure. And change can be uncomfortable and it can be hard, but I have my mapped out, it's behind the camera of what Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday looks like, because something that's important to me is creating content for social media for this show. I really want to build the show. And I love creating content. I find it to be a lot of fun, but I need to have the space in order to do that. So I feel like I've got time. I get those creative juices going. And look, if you create content, you know it takes some time. You have to re-record stuff. You're editing things. It just takes time. So you need that space. So I had to actually schedule that in because otherwise I'm never getting it done. Now, in full transparency, because that's what we do here at Crystal Uncorked, I have not implemented this written calendar into my computer calendar on Asana. I am still following my Asana calendar, putting in the meetings and just doing the same old thing. So I have not created the change yet. I haven't broken that habit. And so my plan of action is that we're going on a little road trip. Then my mom and aunt are going to come visit me. Then we have Thanksgiving. And so beginning of December, when this episode drops, I will have already blocked and implemented this so I can start living it in December. I just can't do it immediately right away. And so I think that's a really good thing for us all to think about is change doesn't happen overnight. Get really clear on what it is that you want to do, where you want to create that space. What is that space going to be used for? Schedule it in and just know that it might take a couple weeks or months, even a couple months to get to that place that you're feeling really good about the schedule and the new structure of your day. It does take time, but you've got to start somewhere. So for me, I am being a little patient with myself and giving myself a little bit of grace, but I know that I have a plan and I feel really good about that. But here's what's funny. I totally have FOMO that I'm not creating content. I'm not creating as much content as I want to be and as I know that I should be in order to be at where I want to be with this show. And so it's FOMO and I'm comparing myself to other people. I'm seeing what they're doing and how often they're creating and they're pumping out the content. And I am falling behind. I am not relevant. As one more day goes by, that's another day that I've missed that opportunity to grow and put myself out there and build my community. And so it is a struggle to give yourself that grace, to be patient and know that it is coming and that you can't just make this complete shift immediately. Typically, you can't do that. Typically, you need that time. So be intentional with your time. The second one is give yourself permission to live in the present. And kind of connects with what we were just talking about. They're saying if you have a bad day, be easy on yourself and have a relaxing evening. If you just receive good news, take a moment to celebrate it. You know, we move so fast in today's world that we are just like, oh, cool, we got this new gig. Awesome. Okay. Anyways, oh man, now my email inbox is like 5,000 emails I have to go through. I'm so annoyed. I have so much to do. Life is so busy. What are we going to have for dinner? I have to take the dogs to the vet. They're not eating their food. I have to change the food. All like, brrr, and it's like, whoa, you just got a cool new gig. Why don't you celebrate that for a second? Like, let's be in the present moment. Let's enjoy the present moment. That's been coming up for me a lot in therapy and just on some trainings I'm in. And I'm realizing that I'm just like really looking ahead versus really being in the moment and taking that second. The other day, because I had some of those meetings cancel, I was sitting on my couch and I was just like looking out at the little farm across the way, not doing anything. I was on my phone. I didn't have music on. I was just staring out the window and I'm like, this is exactly what my soul needs. I just got to stare for 10 minutes. Like just allowing myself the permission to be present. And then I would kind of listen to what are the sounds that I'm hearing? What are the colors that I'm seeing? What birds am I seeing fly? And just to let your mind like have that break. It is so energizing. And some might say that that's almost a form of meditation, which can also help fill our cup back up, give us that creativity, give us that energy back that we need. We can take a little bit of time to give us that additional energy to really get stuff done. So we have to take those moments. They also say if you feel that you are in constant competition with someone on social media, then reassess why you feel this way. And that is an important question. Instead of getting caught up of like, oh, well, now they're doing that and now they're doing this, like these influencers that I see all the content they're pumping out, getting really clear, why is it that I'm competing? Why is it that I'm feeling FOMO? Answering those questions and then like recalibrating and just sticking into my lane. This is what works for my life right now. They have a different schedule than I do. They have a completely different life than I do. A lot of these influencers, that's their job is content creation. I run a business, so there are a lot of meetings. Like it's a completely different life. It's not a fair comparison at all. So we have to just get really clear, like, why am I comparing and have some grace with ourselves and get that clarity. The next thing that Psychology Today says is embrace tech-free times. And this is absolutely a hard one, I think, because for me personally, one of my checkouts, like when I have a break, I go to TikTok and that's where I get my news and my entertainment and I scroll. I found that I watch a lot less TV over the past 6 months because I'm watching TikTok. It's my entertainment now. And it gives me that break, like that mental break that I feel like I crave, especially after lunchtime, to just, like check out for a second. And the thing is what can happen is I'm not controlling that content that's coming to me, especially on TikTok. It's all curated for me. And so sometimes it can be negative things. It can be downer. It can be depressing. It can be a waste of my time. I don't need to see a ton of people doing dance videos. And then it could also create that comparingitis. I've heard that somewhere. I think comparingitis. I'm probably saying it wrong, but where I'm just comparing myself to these content creators. And so, to have that break, I think it's a really important to understand like what you're doing with social and how long you're going to be on it. So one thing that I recently did is you can set a limit, and I set a 45-minute limit on TikTok. Some of you might be like, oh my God, how are you possibly scrolling for 45 minutes? And some of you might be like, that's it? That's all you scroll for? But for me, it was 45. And then at that point, it asked me to put in my password. But then if I just put in my password, I can keep scrolling. The thing I like about it is it's like, holy shit, it's been 45 minutes. You don't realize how long it's been because you're just scrolling, and it can just be a complete time suck. So I really recommend putting in a timer. I also talked about how like when I went on vacation, I deleted the apps and then I hid my email app on my phone just so you couldn't like easily get to it or see it. Out of sight, out of mind really helped me as well. And so, yeah, that's embrace tech-free times. Next up is practicing saying no. And, this is a great example where I was like, no, I'm not going to go to some of these trainings. And I started looking at my calendar. I'm like, is there anything that I can move, get rid of, or just not even do? You don't have to say yes to every single thing, even socially. And this is where I really struggle because I want to be a part of everything. But, sometimes I just need that day, that break. I had such a wonderful, the past 2 weeks, I've been doing self-care on Friday nights and just doing masks and stretching and drinking teas and lemon water and just like going slow. I took a bath last week. It was just so incredible. And I'm loving those days. And instead of like meeting friends up for dinner or going wine tasting or, going to an escape room, all that's really fun. But if I do too much of that and not enough of the self-care stuff and just slowing down, then I'm really out of balance. And then that's where it's really hard for me to have the energy I need for the week ahead or even just the weekend and doing my chores and things like that. Psychology Today also said that experience real life, not social media life. And so again, going back to the time suck of the scrolling and the drama on social media, instead disconnect, do things like cooking, spending time outdoors. Games with friends and family is a big one for me. I love it. My nutritional therapist and friend, Michelle Wolford, gave me a great thing to do in those moments of like, I'm bored. What should I do? Instead of picking up that phone and scrolling, she said, write down a bunch of activities on a little piece of paper, fold them, put them in a jar. And then when you have some time, instead of picking up the phone, go and pick that out, one of those activities. And so on there, I put like dancing, going for a walk, playing games, journaling, singing, writing. I feel like I had like 10 different things on there and, reading. And so then you just take one of those and you do it, because sometimes it's so easy. Just grab our phone, open our favorite app and scroll. It's so easy. Don't make me make another decision today. I'm tired. I don't have the energy. So if I don't have the energy, I'm going to do the easiest thing for me to get done, which is open my phone and start scrolling. So make it easy, make a little jar. And this could be fun to do with your spouse or your partner or your family or friend or something where you're pulling those things out and giving you new, fresh ideas of what you could be doing. Add in some self-care stuff in there. That's a really fun thing to mix it up and enjoy more of the real life. And then finally, they say, slow down, take time to think before you speak, embrace the quiet, use time driving in traffic or waiting in lines to sit with your thoughts. They also say, listen to a book. And they say slowing down can increase our creativity, which can harvest into other productive avenues and projects in our life. and I already said it this episode, we are going a mile a minute. We just go so fast and we're trying to get so much done. And if we do just take a second to really slow down, the beauty is that we can get better answers. We can restore our energy, and those creative juices can come flowing in and help us in other areas of our life, or to do unique things with our marketing or our business, and just be a little bit more balanced. These things are also going to help prevent burnout. So just embrace JOMO. Have that joy of missing out on those activities or those meetings or whatever it is that you're just not really feeling it. Follow these 6 steps from Psychology Today to really help fill your cup up, find that energy, and support you. The thing is, some people say that JOMO is the secret to finding happiness, and I can totally agree. I found so much happiness in JOMO last week, and I'm really excited to continue this process moving forward. It is a process. It is something to kind of implement, and I'm looking forward to it. This episode is coming out in December, and, talk about a crazy busy time, right? With the holidays. So we're going to different holiday parties. We're hosting parties, company parties. We're buying gifts. We're shopping. We're watching movies. We're drinking eggnog. We're doing all the fun things. Some of us are traveling. And this is a really great time to embrace JOMO. I really want you to, if you're feeling the anxiety, if you're feeling the pressure, you're feeling FOMO, you're feeling tired, look at what you can cut out. What can you miss out on? You don't have to go to everything, okay? Or leave early, 2 hours early from the party, or go an hour late, or just factor in something that's going to fill up your cup, and make sure you have the time for that. That can be more important, and you can be more whole and present with your family and your friends if you do that for yourself. I hope that you found this episode helpful. And if you have anything to share how you enjoy JOMO or what you do to embrace it, DM me on Instagram, or you can email me cheers@crystaluncorked.com, and I will see you on the next See You. Bye. Hey, real quick, if you are a retail store owner, I would love to see you at Evolve. This is my in-person marketing conference happening April 26th and 27th, 2023 in Denver, Colorado at the Gaylord Rockies, which is a stunning venue. You get to spend 2 days with me and my team and keynote speakers, as well as other retailers looking to evolve their marketing, business, and lives. It's an intimate event. We only have 200 tickets available, and we've already sold a lot of those seats already. So this event will sell out. Do not delay, because we have special pricing depending on when you hear this and when you sign up. And I would love to see you in that room. So go to crystalmediaco.com/evolve. That's crystalmediaco.com/evolve to get your ticket. And I would love to see you there. And thank you for listening to this episode. Bye.